Okay, here we're going to take a look at the second part of adjusting entries, and this specifically looks at what we call depreciation. We learned in the previous video, we learned that we had these end of period adjustments because certain changes occur that affect the business's financial condition. One of those is that equipment is wearing out. This is a change that's occurring. The equipment is just wearing out as time goes by and as we use it. And we are not entering these into the accounting system. These things are making changes, and they affect the business's financial condition, and so therefore we have to analyze and record and classify or post these things into the books. But as equipment wears out, it's not like we're rushing every minute to do an adjusting entry. So we wait till the end of the period, and that may be once a year if the company just does adjusting entries once a year and their financial statements once a year. Or typically these end of period adjustments are done at the end of each month. Now we have something called the historical cost principle, and this is where GAAP says that assets should be recorded at their actual cost. Whatever the company, whatever the business paid for that equipment, that's what it should be recorded at. And as long as the business owns that asset, it's sitting on the books under equipment as at whatever value we originally paid for it. Now, if we sell that piece of equipment, then it'll come off the books. Or if we retire it, like, we used it up and it's no longer useful, we're just throwing it away, then it can come off the books, okay? But as long as it's on the books, it sits there as whatever we originally paid for it. So, in other words, as we use it, it goes down in value. It's not as useful as it used to be. That market value is the value I can turn around and sell that piece of equipment for. That's the market value. Well, of course, it's going to go down from the time that it's new, as we use it. But we don't make any adjustments in the book for that. It's still sitting in the books at whatever the original cost was. Useful life, when we use that word, that set of words, it means the period of time that that asset is expected to help produce revenues. So when we first buy that piece of equipment, management, it's their job to say, okay, this piece of equipment will last us and help produce revenues for us for at least 10 years. Okay, or it will produce 5,000 products, or it is expected, if it's a vehicle, to go 100,000 miles. Whatever it's expected to do, that is the useful life that management is going to try to estimate. Now, they may go long a few years and they find that their estimate wasn't good. Either the useful life will be longer or shorter than what they had originally estimated, and we can fix that if need be. Otherwise, the useful life that they determined at the beginning when they first bought that asset, that's what we're keeping. Okay? There's many things that could cause the useful life to go down, just basic wear and tear. It could go obsolete, like if we buy a computer, even though the computer is still working 5 years from now, maybe it doesn't, it can't run the programs that we need at that point, so it gets obsolete. So when the manager is looking at how long useful life is, they're looking at a variety of things. So during the time period that we're using the asset, and we learned in the previous PowerPoint that when we use things, we have to show that use as an expense. So as we use equipment or a long-term asset, then we're going to call that depreciation expense. We need to recognize that. When we use the word recognize, we mean record into the books. Okay? So that as the asset's being used, we are showing depreciation expense. Okay? The estimated use is what we're using. So in other words, if I'm using a piece of equipment a lot one month and a little the next month, I don't have to figure out, oh gosh, I used it more this month, therefore I should show more depreciation expense, which is kind of like we do with supplies and prepaid insurance. The supplies in particular, we're saying how much did we use this month, and that's going to go into supplies expense. Whereas with depreciation expense, we're going to set up an original useful life at the beginning of the time that we bought that, and we're going to use that estimated use for the entire time. So depreciation is a method of matching the asset's original cost against the revenue produced over the useful life. We learned in the last video about the matching principle and how we're trying to match revenues and expenses. Expenses are those things we use to help us produce revenues. Okay, so we're using this equipment to help produce revenues for the business, and so we need to match the use of that equipment so that depreciation expense is a match of that. It has nothing to do, even though this word depreciation may mean that it goes down in value to you, to an accountant, depreciation just means matching that original cost to the benefits that we're going to receive over the useful life. There are a number of depreciation methods we could do to calculate out the depreciation expense for accounting 101. We're only going to use one of those, called the straight line method. That's the most common method used in large public companies. Okay, depreciation expense is based again on the estimate of the useful life, and we also have an estimate of a salvage value that management makes an estimate of. So what is salvage value? That's the expected market value, meaning what do we think we can sell this thing for at the end of its useful life. So if I think this equipment is going to last for 10 years, how much do I think I can sell that piece of equipment for 10 years from now when I'm done using it? That's the salvage value. Now, management may be planning on just using this piece of equipment till it's busted and we're going to throw it away, in which case the salvage value would be 0. Okay, but if they're thinking, well, this piece of equipment could actually be usable for 15 years, but we're only going to use it for 10 years, and then we think we could sell it for $1,000 to someone else who will use it the other few years. This may be called scrap value or residual value instead of salvage value. Here's an example. Amanda has motor scooters. They have an estimated useful life of 3 years. They don't have any salvage value. She's going to run them until they're pretty useless. And it has an original cost of $3,600 for those 3 motor scooters, $1,200 a piece. Okay, now we want to spread that original cost over the useful life of the 3 years. Okay, so our first step is to calculate the depreciable cost, and we have a formula for that. The depreciable cost is the original cost minus the salvage value, okay, minus what we think we're going to sell it for. Now, she said 0, so the $3,600 original cost minus 0 is $3,600 depreciable cost. That's how much we're going to depreciate. Okay, the second step is to determine the depreciation expense, and we have a formula for that too. This is the straight line formula of depreciation. We take the depreciable cost and we divide it by the estimated useful life. So our depreciable cost, we said, was $3,600, and we divide that by the estimated useful life. Now, the estimated useful life is 3 years. So I can take $3,600 divided by 3 years, and that will tell me $1,200 per year, because I put my estimated useful life in years. Now, in this case, if we want to do adjusting entries at the end of the month, then we should put our estimated useful life in months. So 3 years is 36 months. So we would take $3,600 divided by 36 months. We get $100 per month. Okay, so the delivery equipment itself is sitting at $3,600 debit balance, the way an asset should be a debit balance. That's the original cost. The historical cost principle says I need to leave that there until I sell or get rid of this equipment. I can't change it. So instead, I'm going to start a new account. It's called accumulated depreciation. Accumulated means built up depreciation of delivery equipment. Okay? And I'm going to put the $100 credit there. Instead of putting it in delivery equipment itself, which would bring my balance of delivery equipment down to $3,500, and I don't want to mess that $3,600 up. I want to leave it there because of the historical cost principle. Okay, so instead I'm going to put the depreciation every month in this other account, accumulated depreciation. Now, this accumulated depreciation is what we call a contra asset. Contra means opposite. It has opposite balance, a credit balance, as opposed to a debit balance that other assets have. Still shown as an asset, even though it has a credit balance. Still shown as the asset of the balance sheet. And it is being deducted from its related assets. So the delivery equipment minus the accumulated depreciation. Now we have a thing called book value. Again, accountants may use words like value and depreciation, but we're not talking about value. Okay? The value carried on the books or in the accounting records is what they're talking about, which is the original cost that's in that asset account minus the contra asset accumulated depreciation. This might also be called the undepreciated cost. So we have 3,600 minus 100.